Special consensus on Bluegrass Junction, and just a band on that one. We've been talking throughout the morning here about the guests that you've had on different tracks, but on Big River, it's just you guys, and sounding really good. Great version of that song.
Thank you.
I got Rick Ferris and Dan Eubanks and Nick Dumas, and of course Greg Cahill here from the band. We're playing through the album Rivers and Roads this morning. I guess we were talking about Bill Monroe a while ago, and we've also been sharing some Bill Monroe stories off the air, I have to say. But we were talking about Bill Monroe, and I guess Bill is the guy who brought that song into Bluegrass.
Yes,
right?
He did record it.
Yeah. And it was something of a hit for him at the time. At the same time, Johnny Cash, or not long after Johnny Cash, had his hit with Big River. What led you to record that this time around?
Actually, that's a funny story because we were trying to find something that was a nice slow groove, but kind of in your face. And Greg and I were driving down from Wisconsin, and I just looked over at Greg. I said, "Oh my goodness!" He said, "What?" I said, "Big River. That would be perfect." And Greg said, "Well, you mean the Johnny Cash tune?" And I was like, "Yeah, it'd be great." He's like, "Oh, okay. Well." Okay, well, we'll see, and the first thing we came in the studio the next day, and Allison's like, I was thinking, what about Big River? And I was just like, oh my gosh, okay, so apparently we're doing that now.
And I went home after that.
All the way home. Crazy, though.
Yeah. If we're going to record that, Allison, you're going to play it.
But it was fun. Great. It was great.
Yeah, so why Big River, Allison? I mean, what was the thing?
Well, we're trying to legitimize the title. At least I was thinking in my mind, Rivers and Roads makes sense, but it would be nice to have another river song.
Oh, okay.
And
gotcha.
I'd messed around with that for a Johnny Cash tribute thing that I put together at Symphony Space in New York a couple of years ago. And it worked great as a bluegrass tune, so it just made sense.
Well, it sure worked great with you guys. And Greg, you're okay with playing it now? Seriously?
I'll never hear the end of it, Kyle. But, no, I always liked it. I just thought... I guess sometimes around Chicago, some of the country bands, it comes up often, and I just thought, well, it might be good, bluegrass style, but maybe, I love the song, and I really like the arrangement that we came up with, but, so I'm very happy with it.
Yeah. Do any of you guys have a favorite song on the album? And I realize I may be putting you on the spot on this question, too, but is there a favorite song you have of the ones you recorded?
Well, I've got kind of a dark horse pick,
okay.
And it's the last song on the record. It's called Misty Morning, and I'm partial to it, I guess, because one of my good friends co-wrote it, and I love the way Nick sang it, and I love the arrangement that Allison helped us come up with on it. So it's not one that is going to get a whole lot of attention, but it's a really great recording, and I'm really proud of it. So
yeah. Well, there's
Doug Forshee and Chris Strait wrote that song.
There's someone on the phone about to agree with you on that.
Hey, what's up?
Great.
I told you never to call me here.
Right. Whoever's on that phone.
So before I completely lose the thread of this thing, Nick, is there a favorite one that you have?
We gotta mute this for.
And we're still
okay. We're muted. All right, we're good.
Still fooling with the phone here. Okay.
If I had to pick one, I love "Hurting Sure." I absolutely love that song, written by our friend Mark Simos, who's written some of my all-time favorite songs.
And we heard that a while ago. That's the second track on the album.
And I love the arrangement we came up with, and Molly Tuttle's singing is fantastic.
Gorgeous.
And Rick's singing, of course, is absolutely killer. And
Rick, you were in a little lower register on that.
That's actually the lowest I've ever sang on a recording ever. And it's not my usual range, but after the record, I'm like, well, I guess I should explore down there. That was kind of fun. So
you did great, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then stacking the lower harmonies below Molly's part in the end, it was so cool. It was really fun to be part of that track, especially all of them, of course, but that one really.
It was a tender moment.
Yes,
Tender moment.
absolutely.
Is that your favorite too on the album, or is there?
You know, I
It's tough.
absolutely couldn't pick one. I love so many songs for so many different reasons.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love the tender moments in that song. It's such a sweet track, and she did such a great job.
Well, you know,
Great Mark Simos composition too.
Yeah.
My
Yes.
goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which he had sent to us about 4 or 5 years ago. And
really, you've had it that long?
Yeah, but you know how there's so many great songwriters, and we've been very fortunate because we get some great songs, but it might not suit the particular project you're on at the time, but you know it's a great song. And so when we started coming up with material for this, it just seemed like, boy, there's the place for that song, and it worked perfectly. It did.
Well, in a way, I know it's definitely unfair of me to ask what the favorite song you might have from the album is, just simply because I've heard musicians say before that choosing between songs they've written or songs they've recorded or songs they do is sort of like asking you to choose between your children, you know, because you wouldn't do them if you didn't have an affection for them or like them or whatever, because
Absolutely.
that's just kind of the way the creative process works. Allison, you feel that
Yeah.
way?
I definitely feel that way. And you know, with Molly on Hurt and Sure, what was so cool was that when she was in the studio, she said that she really had wanted to demo that song for Mark when she was a student at Berkeley, which I had no idea. So it was another case of like the serendipity of the material, you know, and the people singing it. But yeah, I mean, for me on this record, I just think she took the Tennessee River as one of the best new bluegrass songs I've heard in a long time. I just think it like pushes all the buttons, you know, for a great bluegrass tune, and it was amazing to be able to have a hand in working on that one.
And isn't it nice we have another track that keeps Bobby Osborne in the
Yes.
public eye?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Where he
absolutely.
belongs.
That
Great.
was so fun.
Great to have him there. Of course, as you know, Allison produced a terrific album on Bobby that the whole industry should be very proud of. You did a great job
Well,
with the
thank you
album
for that.
original.
That was a real treat.
Yeah, really nice stuff. Well, on with the special consensus album we're featuring this morning.